Meet Mr. Pankaj Keswani, visionary founder and chairman of Alufit, a 600 crore Indian facade powerhouse. A first-generation entrepreneur and self-made disruptor, he launched Alufit in 1984 at just 24, armed with nothing but a dream and an unshakable faith in the limitless potential of aluminium. From a modest team of 8, he has forged an empire of thousands, anchoring 3 state-of-the-art factories and completing landmark curtain wall and facade projects across the nation. 4 decades of hands-on experience have honed his ability to turn bold ideas into flawless reality, while his relentless drive for innovation, discipline, and uncompromising quality has earned Alufit its unrivaled reputation. Today, Mr. Keswani stands tall as the facade titan, proof that when heart, soul, blood, and sweat come together, building an empire isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Presenting Facade Titans, powered by Ulstone.
So I started out in 1984, and if I had to be really honest, it was not really by any design intent that I entered into the facade industry. It was more a kind of an accident, so to speak. I was looking to enter into a creative field, into advertising, but life had other roles for me, and I ended up being a management trainee with Usha's, where the Sriram Group, and worked with them for a year. And once that was done, my brother, who's in this line and was very successful too in facades, he had started a small aluminum fabrication unit in Mumbai. I joined him and worked with him for about another 8-9 months and carried the journey. However, during this period, he was young and I was even younger. I was 23, he was 26, and differences of opinion cropped up, and I felt that if I continued there much longer, this would lead to friction, and I'd lose even the personal relationship and the bond that I had. So I decided to move out. He had started it, and I said I'll come out of the unit and start something on my own and do my own business, and that's how I decided that I'll set up my own company. So over the years, we've been working on many projects, but if I had to really choose and say what changed the landscape and what were really the landmark projects that have been done, I'd like to start with iFlex Solutions in Bangalore. This is the project that we'd done way back in 2005-06. And the uniqueness of this job was that it was a cantilevered structure. It was designed like a ship. It was just a regular concrete and a building that was done. But then we had to, with steel, and form this and make the nose to look like the hull of a ship, right? So that was very challenging, number one. The second was that we had over 870 glasses on that project. I still remember each glass being of 2 meters by 2 meters. And each size was different because of the shape of the building. And since this was a point fixed glazing project, each of the holes had to match, and each drawing had to be made independently. Today, when you talk about it 20 years down the line, it seems like a joke. It's so easy because you've got AutoCAD, you've got everything. But in those days, when nothing was available, we're talking 2 decades earlier, this was not the same. So this was one project which I think was a landmark. So one of the reasons why we've been so successful in our business is that at Alufit, we pay a lot of attention to strategy and execution. And I think this is one area where people don't normally pay attention to. Before you take up a job, before you work on anything, it's very important to have a plan, right? And unless you have a proper plan, you're not going to go ahead and execute it. So for us, it's always been patience in planning and impatience in execution, right? And that's what's done wonders for us. We believe, like to say, the kites rise best against the tide, not with it. And as a way of knowledge sharing, I'd like to say that the whole facade industry today is a $50 billion industry world over. And this is set by 2035, in the next 10 years, to grow at a compounded annual rate of about 9%. So what you're looking at is a $120 billion industry. And where India is in this position today, out of this $50 billion, India is doing about $1.4 billion. And by 27, with the number of projects and the infrastructure development that we have, this is set to go to 2.8 billion. So in 2 years, you're going to see a doubling of it. And India's position in the world going up from the 3% to around 5%. With this kind of size, there would be a need for new players, new contractors. There would be a need for more regulation. And that's where the role of the facade consultants have come in such a big way. So in terms of innovation, we have our own R&D division in-house, and the R&D team works and looks at new opportunities, new ideas. As is known, Alufit is a part of the Shilco Group. And with Shilco, now that we are a part of one company, all the ideas and all the developments that happen overseas, they're immediately transferred back and we have knowledge of it. And it's easy for us to adapt and change and do it. My real advice to anybody would be that there's no easy way to reach the top. Nowadays you get funding. We can set up anything. There's AI, right? We're getting into deep tech, and these things are all there. But right, I think there's no substitute for hard work. And I think unless you raise your knees and your hands, and that's the only way to grind your way to the top. So for me, I don't think I'm working. It's just every day is an inspiration. Every day is excitement. Every day is challenging. And I revel in it. So I'm enjoying every minute. I don't feel the stress. For me to do 12, 13 hours a day is very easy. It's probably more challenging to go back home because I have nothing much to do there. That's on the lighter note. But if I have to really say what I need to do is, of course, like I said, my work is, if you ask a musician, what does he do to relax? I mean, he just listens to his music, right? So it's the same thing for me, aluminum and music. So I don't have any challenges there. So yeah, I mean, there are different ways in which I unwind with friends and family. So it's either work or it's family for me. There's nothing else in between.
With 4 decades of hands-on expertise, Mr. Pankaj Keswani keeps turning vision into landmark facades. His unwavering commitment to innovation, professionalism, and quality has placed him at the very pinnacle of India's facade industry, earning him his place among Ulstone's celebrated facade titans.